this is Editing KJ with a quick note that this episode was recorded before the WGA strike and the SAG-AFTRA strikes were resolved, and in some cases possibly before the strikes began. We're super happy to be back, so please enjoy this episode.
Really, I've just been stalling our trip into our next segment because this is the week where we have to make a very firm decision on how to handle temporary death. When it comes to the death count.
How have we handled it in the past?
We haven't really need to do.
Yeah, this one is,
Because technically Dean dies 111 times in this episode, and 10 of them happen on screen, which would bring our on-screen total to either 234 or 243.
My name is KJ, and you're listening to the Supernatural Opinions podcast, where some things in this world are supernatural. My pronouns are she, they, and this is the podcast where I talk to my fellow Supernatural fans about Supernatural, and we share our supernatural opinions.
Today I am joined by my guests, Meredith, Jenn, and she. Meredith, remind everyone who you are.
My name is Meredith. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm currently trying to coax the cat into my lap.
Yes, Colby, come see us. There's Colby. Hi, baby.
Aww.
So cute. And Jenn, remind people who you are, because you haven't been here in a while.
I know, it's been a hot minute. Hey guys, I'm Jenn. I'm also known as Rupert Gaze on pretty much all the social platforms that you need to know. Pronouns are she, her, and I'm so pumped to be back, especially for this episode.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's been so long. I'm so glad you're back. And Chi, this is your very first time with us, so please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I'm Chi. My pronouns are she, her. I've been watching Supernatural, I think, with 2023. 3 years now? Almost 4.
Okay, interesting.
Several times. I have a lot of useless information in my brain about it.
That's what we
like. A lot of opinions about it, and I hear this is the right podcast.
Yes, it absolutely is.
I know. Chi and I met through fandom spaces 2 years ago, so we were so pumped to do an episode together, but honestly, I have so little supernatural knowledge compared to her, so it's been a real lifesaver for me.
Sometimes she just DMs me like, hey, did something like this ever happen in Supernatural? And I was, you need the alphabetized order or
Yeah, I know. Why look on Wikipedia if Chi is right there?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. This week, we are recapping Season 3, Episode 11, Mystery Spot, which originally aired on February 14th, 2008. And I think the title is just a reference to our case of the week. I don't think it's a particular pop culture reference to anything.
I don't think so, but my point of pride is when I was little, I did get to go to Mystery Hill in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, so we got that.
That sounds really fun. That's something I would like to do.
Is there a time loop there, or why is it a Mystery Hill?
No, I mean, they said...
Isn't it super magnetized or something?
Oh,
that's what they say. But, it's a lot of optical illusions and stuff. I remember they also had a big thing of, you can make bubbles as big as you were and stuff. So perfect for, a 7-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really... In my country, we don't really have stuff like that. All the meet places and psychic places and tourist attractions like that. So it was really interesting to watch that episode for the first time and see it and then Googling, what is a mystery spot? And hearing that all around the US there's stuff like that. It was a cultural shock for me.
I did not know that was something that wasn't a universal thing, so I love that.
Yeah. I've never really been to one.
Yeah, I don't think I really have either, but they definitely exist.
I don't know, there's probably not as many in Canada, but I don't know, there's probably a few.
Yeah. It does very much seem like an American phenomenon to me.
It kind of honestly reminded me of there's a Museum of Science and Technology, and they have a room where it's all optical illusions, and you can hardly walk, even though the floor is technically flat because it doesn't feel flat.
Yeah.
And that's what
Oh my
I
god, that
remember.
That's
I
pretty
do
cool.
have like museum stuff where
Yeah,
you.
the science.
Yeah.
The one
History.
thing I remember from a museum like that is the bed of nails that you like lie on the bed.
Yeah, stuff
Yes,
like that.
that's cool.
For 7-year-old me, I was sure I'm gonna get like.
This is
I'm not
how
gonna
it
make
ends. Yeah, I
said
remember
goodbye
the
to my
bed of
family.
nails at the science center.
This week's episode will contain spoilers for this episode and may reference previous episodes, but will not contain spoilers for later episodes of Supernatural. And this episode was written by Jeremy Carver and Emily McLaughlin and directed by Kim Manners. Kim Manners last directed on 301 The Magnificent Seven, and I'm hoping Meredith will be able to tell me something about a Kim Manners X-Files episode called Monday that I think might be relevant. Are you familiar with that?
It's a time loop. It's not quite as funny as this one, but it does involve a time loop. And it's actually not like Mulder or Scully who are at the center of it. It's a side character that's only in that episode. And she's the only one who's aware that they're in a time loop. And it was actually a really interesting episode.
Okay, so when they make an X-Files reference in this episode, it was probably very on
Very
purpose.
intentional, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because Kim Manners directed both of those, so I was just like,
I don't know a lot about Kim Manners outside of Supernatural, but I do know a lot about Jeremy Carver in Supernatural. I don't know the other writer he wrote with. Maybe she wrote other episodes. I didn't check. But Jeremy Carver just has like a way with writing episodes that is so interesting.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of Jeremy Carver episodes. His last one was 308, A Very Supernatural Christmas.
Yeah, it's like he has a wheel and he spins it and it's like this. And what sort of trauma can we apply to them this episode?
Yeah.
It's sort of funny trauma.
Yeah,
Funny trauma.
Those are both funny episodes.
I think he wrote the first Andy episode, if I remember correctly, as well.
Oh, okay.
I think that might have been Ben Edlund.
Oh, yeah, it was Ben Edlund.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Jeremy Carver and Ben Edlund, it's definitely more top tier episodes than not when they come up, as from what we've seen, right?
I have like a Supernatural writers top tier list, like and Jeremy Carver is not like the S tier, that's Ben Edlund exclusively, but Jeremy Carver is at the very near to the top.
Okay, I really need to know where Robbie Thompson falls on your list.
Okay, so he's like, I don't know, he's not like B tier, but he's not like A tier either. He's somewhere in between. Like
Okay.
What about Sarah Gamble?
So very high.
I don't hate her. I like some episodes she wrote, but
I think she's a better writer than she is a showrunner, personally.
I just like, you said, but also like, I feel like the way she approaches writing episodes is very particular. She just like, you know what? I'll write something. And sometimes it turns out great. And sometimes you look at it and you ask yourself, did I really have to watch that episode or could I skip it? Like, I'm trying not to be, she's one of the only female writers on Supernatural. Hard to not be like, yeah, I hate women writers. No, she's great.
Honestly, the show would have done better if they had more female writers, in my opinion. But
yeah, I think that's the thing. Maybe more writers of color too. Maybe more queer writers.
I mean, this is so not relevant to this episode, but I do think that Sarah Gamble fits better into the Kirky era. I think
agree with you.
Yeah, like I think she's very similar to Eric in a lot of ways, and so I think that they like meshed really well. I think she saw the vision of like Eric Kirky's monster of the week, and like I just don't think that translated super well to the overarching like plot that the show became.
Yeah.
I think really early Sarah Gamble episodes were the best she produced for the show. I hear that now, like a side agent, I hear that now she works on the Netflix show You. I don't know if that's true, but from what I hear, she's doing well, so good for her.
Wow, that's not a show I watch, but I hear it's very twisted.
It's a show that continues to one-up itself. Like,
I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, no, not for me.
This is Sarah Gamble's niche, for sure. I knew some people who really like that show, and I'm like, yeah, I could see why she would do so well in that type of show.
Every season I'm like, I don't think I'm going to watch this season. And then I'm like sucked in. I watch the whole season. I'm like, oh, damn, okay.
But yeah, Jenn is amazing when writing, especially like when they give him an episode that sometimes is not really connected to the overarching plot. Like you hear them talking about, oh yeah, we have to do this and that. But when he gets an episode to just focus on something specific without like, I'm basically thinking about future episodes that we haven't covered yet. But when he gets an opportunity to focus on a specific episode with a specific plot not related to other plots, it's amazing. Just like his sandbox, he can do whatever he wants and it turns out great. And I really think that shines in this episode.
I do want to talk about this episode's co-writer, Emily McLaughlin, because she never wrote on Supernatural before this. She's never really written anything besides this one episode of Supernatural. Her other IMDb credits are all production staff, writing assistant to Mr. Sheben, who is John Sheben, one of the early seasons Supernatural writers. A lot of her credits are like showrunner's assistant in 2005, so possibly she worked with Eric Kripke. But like, Emily, I'm really sorry. IMDb was not super clear on what your job was, but I do know that along with Jeremy Carver, you were the season 3 like story editor, and I think that's why this episode's really good. But this is a brilliant episode, and I can't believe that someone co-wrote on this and then just never wrote anything again.
Yeah, I mean, from the way that position was written, I'm wondering if maybe she had an uncredited role in a lot of scripts, possibly from early on. We just maybe didn't get like a full recording of it. Maybe she just had heavier rewrites for this one in particular.
I don't know, but this is a good episode. It's so weird that you wouldn't get any other writing credits along your career after this. But like, she went on to work with John Sheben on some of his other projects after Supernatural.
Oh, love me some John Sheben. Good for her.
We've had John Sheben's final episode. We surpassed his run on the show, which was very sad.
I know, but...
So we're going to start off by ranking this episode, and we're going to start with Meredith.
I'll give it a 10.
10 out of 10? Excellent.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and it's weird. I love that. All my only criteria.
She, how about you? What would you like to rate this episode?
Wow. Like, I think, I don't know if I'd give it 10. Like, maybe a 9.5 firecrackers out of 10 lollipops.
That's my favorite kind of ranking. Jen, how about you?
I was also going to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to say this is the best Supernatural episode, but I genuinely think if you were trying to convince someone that Supernatural is something special, it's a show worth watching, give them like a 5-minute synopsis pitch, then sit them down and have them watch this episode, and I think you might really convince them.
Yeah, this is a show about two brothers who hunt monsters, and one of them sold their soul to save the other one, and is going to die in a year. Bing, bing, boom, you're done, you're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is that the soul thing doesn't even happen until like season 2. So what do you have to say about season 1? They hunt monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah. No, they hunt monsters. They hunt monsters. Don't scare people off. Just say, here's the basic bullet points.
Yeah, that's all you need for this particular episode. Like, there is things to say about season 1. There's important things, I think, that happened in season 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think to understand this episode, that's all you need. Is those 2 sentences, and you're ready to go. I also said that this was a 10 out of 10 for me, which is the first 10 out of 10 we've had in 3 seasons.
Oh my gosh, wow. High praise.
A special occasion.
I do actually think that this is a perfect episode to demonstrate everything that Supernatural has the potential to be. It's funny, it's dark, it's angsty. It really is great.
Yeah.
I had this at the end of my recap, but I think it's worth mentioning here actually instead, that this was kind of like a backup season finale in case the writer's strike wasn't resolved in time.
Really? That's interesting.
According to Jared, this is like Jared at a con, I'm assuming. I saw it on the IMDb that like according to Jared. So, take that information with whatever grain of salt. I didn't go for a deep dive to figure out if that was something he actually said, but IMDb told me that was something that Jared said, and I believe it based on what happens in this episode, but I just thought that was really interesting.
From what I can see here, he said that it was like possible series finale because like it was shot after it was the last episode to shoot before the writer's strike, and so I think he thought that it might have been the last episode, possibly because I don't know how they shoot.
They shoot really out of order a lot, but I think that this would have served as a season finale if they had needed it to be.
Yeah, and I don't know how well it would have worked as a season finale, but it's still, I think, just a great episode.
I think that's honestly what made it so great was that it could have been. So this is why I think they okay, we gotta put everything into this one.
Yeah.
Really, I've just been stalling our trip into our next segment because this is the week where we have to make a very firm decision on how to handle temporary death. When it comes to the death count.
How have we handled it in the past?
We haven't really need to do.
Yeah, this one is,
Because technically Dean dies 111 times in this episode, and 10 of them happen on screen, which would bring our on-screen total to either 234 or 243.
Maybe we should just start doing, like, 2 different categories.
I mean, you might just the question is, I'm really going in deep. It's like, the question is,
do these deaths count?
Did they really happen?
I'm gonna tentatively say I think they do, because we know by the end of the episode, Sam, even if he's the only one who remembers, and the trickster, I guess, like, they have a memory of these things occurring. Mm-hmm. I feel like if it was like it was all a dream scenario, or everyone got their mind wiped, you could maybe make the argument, there was no permanent impact of these deaths, but Sam was definitely impacted by them, so I want to count them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it was in a pocket dimension, so it counts.
So I will say, we only count like a ghost. Like if you kill a ghost, like only their human death would count. So like we have not counted ghosts. We did count Sam's death in season 2 as a death. He was dead for 3 days, so we thought that was a death.
I was just thinking about Sam. Just leaving him, just Dean like leaving him on the bed and going away for a while.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Anything could have happened to his body. Okay, so if we're gonna count them, I'm gonna count this as 10 on-screen deaths. So that brings our on-screen count to 243.
Yay!
Congratulations.
We did it.
And then our off-screen death count is gonna go up by 111. So it's gonna be 1,508 plus.
Oh God.
Yeah, we've been busy.
It's totally fine.
They need it so badly.
And that neither of those count Bobby's death, because that was not really Bobby, and like the trickster didn't really die, so not counting that as a death. And then KJ will fix it later. Okay, so glad that we've cleared that up. That's gonna make every subsequent Sam and Dean Winchester death easier to count for me. Now that we've made a firm decision on what that looks like, because that was really like the most ambiguous of death. So let's get into the recap of what happened. This episode starts with no cold open. It's an immediate Sam heat of the moment, like we're into it. Like I'm not kidding, this is my alarm sound with like the Rise and Shine Sammy like Dean bit. Like that is my alarm.
Aww,
that's so awesome.
I know, Dean was honestly being like peak Dean in the opening scene. Like that is so much. I have an older brother, and genuinely the facial expressions, the phrases, I'm literally looking at my brother right now. It was so funny.
As an older sibling, that's exactly how it feels like to be an older sibling. The vindication you feel when you see your old younger siblings suffer because of you, you're like, yes.
Yes, I have one younger sibling, and can confirm I do love tormenting her.
Mm-hmm.
And Meredith, do your older siblings torment you in return?
Oh, one in particular takes pride in his abilities to do so.
It's what we do. Did notice something about Sam's bed, and I know it's like, I just liked how the set design part of it, because I recently learned that people who are tall and have wide shoulders, sometimes when they sleep on the side, they can't reach the pillow because their shoulders block the pillow. He used 2 pillows, and I saw that Sam has 2 pillows, one on top of the other, and I was like, oh my God, they thought about it, and I thought that was really cool of the set design. So, not really important to the episode, but I thought it was interesting.
No, I love this.
I guess they'd been shooting long enough that Jared was just like, no guys, this is what I need.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm gonna have to shoot this shot 20,000 times, so let's make me comfy.
I'm delicate.
I do have a thought about that, actually, because Sam is traditionally not a back sleeper, as he appears to be in this episode.
I love that you know that. Oh my gosh.
I was just about to say, and you know this how?
Sam tends to be a side/stomach sleeper, so it's really interesting that he's
Dean is actually more of the back sleeper/sleeper.
Yeah.
I have theories about that. I won't share.
But I think just like camera-wise, it makes more sense for Sam to be a back sleeper for this one episode.
Yeah.
Just imagine him on the side, opening his eyes and lurching and just falling off the bed.
Yeah, honestly.
That would actually be hilarious.
It's not as good of a camera angle.
No, he should have fallen off the bed. I feel robbed.
Exactly. It's a Kim Manners decision. He made it.
Dean is very annoying. In this like kind of opening scene where we're kind of doing our first morning, he's like waking him up before he's ready, and he's like trying to get Sam out of bed, but then he's also not ready to go, and he's like gargling him doctoriously, and you just know it's like every single thing that Dean could possibly do in order to make Sam just like wish for 1 second that Dean would hurry up and just like die.
And also, like, it's cute because after the last few episodes until this episode, Dean has been rough couple of episodes. So just like it's the same perspective episode. So like from his perspective, Dean is fine. Dean is a-okay. He's happy. He's lucky. He's annoying him. He's ready to go out to eat breakfast to face the world. He's having
Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
So they head to the diner, and it's Tuesday, and today's special is Pig in a Poke, which is a breakfast sausage wrapped in pancake, or sometimes the sausage is cooked into the pancake. Either way, it makes the inclusion of hot sauce in this scene very questionable.
Ooh,
Maybe
yeah.
this is the Canadian in me, but a breakfast sausage or a pancake, both should be eaten with maple syrup. And both together, definitely maple syrup. I don't know what the hot sauce was for. And she never said.
I agree.
interesting. Something interesting I learned like 2 minutes before we started recording. I was doing last minute notes. I learned that pig in a poke is actually like a slang for getting a bad deal.
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know like what pig in a poke was until you just explained it too.
Yeah. I did make sure I looked up what it actually was, because I was like, I don't see anything that would require hot sauce. Also, Sam orders pancakes, so also not something you would put hot sauce on.
Then I learned that like the phrase the cat is out of the bag also comes from pig in a poke, because sometimes you bought a piglet from the market, it put it in a poke like a bag, and then sometimes if you weren't looking, the merchant would replace the pig with a cat, and then you came home and opened the bag and the cat ran out. It's like the cat is out of the bag, meaning the secrets are out.
That was entirely new information for me, and I'm delighted.
Look at this.
That is fascinating.
Supernatural opinions, you are learning new things that you never thought you would learn.
Every day there's something new.
Yeah.
Dean also gets a side of bacon, and they both get coffee, and Dean's really annoyed that they are on a case instead of hunting down Bella, but Sam's like, it's a mystery spot, and someone's missing. We're doing this. They're allegedly in Broward County, Florida, which this is the only episode of Supernatural that takes place in Florida. I think this episode is why, because they quickly realized that Florida and BC are two very different climates, and they could not make BC look like Florida beyond this episode.
And an in-universe explanation could just be like, no, we had trauma in Florida.
Yeah, Sam's like, we're absolutely not going back.
Not going down there.
Dean, don't argue.
I learned that the town, like the set they shot, is the same town from a town called Storybrooke from Once Upon a Time.
I'm very familiar. The fact that
KJ.
a Once Upon a Time podcast is just like really just like luck of the draw.
Yes, I was there in high school. I know how familiar.
I did watch that show religiously. So yeah, this is Houston, BC. I didn't really like recognize any particular storefronts. I did like take like notes, especially in the diner, to see if it was the same diner, but I don't think it is the one that they used for Once Upon a Time.
Me neither. I actually recently, like a week ago, I was rewatching Once Upon a Time. So I did, when I watched yesterday the mystery spot, I was like,
yeah, I was looking really closely, but I didn't see anything really familiar. There is an episode in, I want to say season 14, where they use Regina's house as one of the sets, and like that's really recognizable.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Cool.
Sam's case is a professor who we are later going to learn debunks fake supernatural stuff, and he's gone missing. And Sam says that sometimes these like mystery spot places are real, and he's like, that's still too X-Files for him, which is of course like a Kim Manners joke, as we said at the start of the episode. Fun little shout out.
Oh yeah, and like the case does suit the X-Files a little bit more than Supernatural, but not to the detriment of Supernatural.
Yeah. I didn't want to spend too much time on the, because we're going to see them walk down the street so many times. So I just thought we'd go really quickly on some of the highlights of the side characters who we're going to be meeting as they walk down the street. So they leave the diner, they see a dog tied up. A blonde woman bumps into Dean. Two movers are trying to get a desk through a door. That's kind of like our street layout. That night, Sam and Dean go break into the mystery spot, and it's like a full-on tourist trap, as Dean said it would be. And there's no key, nothing weird's going on. Sam's just like BSing this whole case. Like he's just like trying to convince Dean there's something in here, and it just doesn't really seem like there is. The owner comes in and he's worried he's being robbed. He's got a shotgun. He's real jumpy, which is a bad combination. And he shoots Dean in the chest.
Uh-oh.
Bad news.
Okay,
Wow.
so something interesting that happened. I'm doing a rewatch Supernatural for me, but my sister, my younger sister, is watching with me for the first time. So I started that with me yesterday to watch the episode. So when the man shoots Dean in the chest and Dean like starts bleeding out, my sister starts laughing, and I was like, "Why are you laughing, you sociopath?" And she turns to me and says, "It's a prank. He's pranking Sam." And I was like, "Oh."
Oh, that's an option. Okay.
And then the title cards happen, and she just turns to me and she's in complete shock and she's like, "How? Why? The season is not over. Why is it dying?"
I know, but that's
You
such a
just
good
watch.
opening too.
Yeah.
I love that. Even if you were
No
just
one
watching for the
expected.
first time, it's like the rug gets pulled out from under you and you're like, what the hell is going on?
As someone with a history of rage quitting when one of the brothers dies before the episode's over, can confirm, it's always a shock.
Yeah, this is like before we're desensitized to the brothers dying.
Something I noticed about how the guy who shoots Dean is like shaking. It's like, "How you drive me?"
It's a bad combination. It's a bad combination of being that shaky and that like gun heavy.
And I think like he looked shaken, like something happened to him earlier, and he was like, "Oh my god, is it happening again?" Because earlier in the diner, there's a scene of like someone who looks really shady, doesn't have a lot of money, and then later in the episode, so if it's like spoilers or something, Sam mentions that the owner of the mystery spot got robbed earlier. So it's like maybe earlier in the episode, in the original day, the owner got robbed, and then they break into
Yeah,
the
I do wonder, because that guy is a robber, because Sam says he's on his way to rob someone else, and then he's the guy that shoots Dean on the Wednesday, like tries to rob him and shoots him.
so I think
so,
the
that
person he was out to rob was the owner of the mystery spot that then comes home to the
that's
mystery
an interesting theory.
These two people trying to, I don't know, I honestly don't know what he thought they were doing.
Either way, if you're going to own a gun, you need to be a bit more responsible over that. Even if you are in like a stressful situation, this was not a good reason to shoot someone.
Yeah, I do think the fact that this took place in Florida and there was just so much gun violence that's happening. I mean, it could be other states too, but I'm like, is this trying to tell us something?
Yeah, I mean, name a state that doesn't have gun violence.
Yeah.
Just the way that you said Florida just reminded me all of the articles of like Florida man fights an alligator.
Yeah, exactly. It's too weird.
Which is why it's disappointing that there's not more Florida episodes of Supernatural. There's an episode from one of the earlier seasons, I don't remember if it was season 1 or season 2, where Sam mentions like a cult case that they worked like back in the day, like pre-Stanford era in Florida, and I'm like, I would like to know so much more about Florida.
Yeah.
Part of me's wondering, like, maybe the Winchesters were just like, no, not even we can fix Florida.
Exactly. That's what I like to think too.
I'm surprised there aren't more jokes. Like, I'm surprised like later seasons don't have more jokes about like Florida being like particularly demon heavy or like weird supernatural stuff.
I actually think I have a theory that Florida is like the most demon-free state of all the U.S. That's the reason they never go to it. Like,
Because the people are already weird enough.
yeah.
Nothing can thrive there.
Dean like falls into Sam's arms. He has no last words. He just dies. Boom, title card. And then here's the moment. It's Tuesday morning all over again. Sam's having weird deja vu. He assumes he had a dream, but like they get to the restaurant. It's the exact same customers, the exact same conversations. Dean orders the same thing. Sam gets nothing this time, and he's like getting really freaked out. And I think, given Sam's history of telling the future, Dean does not take Sam's concern seriously enough off the bat.
Yeah, I was also wondering why Sam even said it was a dream. Like, I know after season 2, he doesn't really have visions anymore, but wouldn't you even just say that you thought it was a vision?
It's only been 11 episodes since that happened.
Yeah.
Also, like, for the amount of weird stuff they handle on daily, Dean not immediately grabbing his gun and like, oh my god, let's go find this thing. It's like, oh my god, Sam, you're having a deja vu. Stop it.
Oh man. I feel like they're both just trying to rationalize it because like it's a different kind of weird than they're used to.
Sam catches the hot sauce when the waitress drops it. Again, don't know what the hot sauce is for, but Sam's gonna catch it. They pass the dog, and then this time, instead of arguing about whether or not those cases are talking about the repeating day, and Dean says, "This is Dingo ate my baby crazy." And this season is so stuck in 2008. Like, this whole season, like, we had an episode that was big, very 2007. This one's very 2008. Like, it just stuck in its time.
I love it.
Many things are.
In case you don't know, for anyone who doesn't know, where Dingo ate my baby came from, this phrase comes from a very real-life child death in 1980. The Chamberlain family was camping with their 9-week-old Azaria Chamberlain. Camping with a baby that young sounds awful to me, but, like, you do you. The mother claimed that the baby was taken by a dingo, and she was charged and convicted of murder, and the father was charged with accessory after the fact. They were ridiculed for years. There was a movie where the mother was played by Meryl Streep. Like, this was a big thing. And then in 1988, all of their convictions were overturned after Azaria's jacket was recovered. During the recovery of another body, they just found her jacket. And in 2012, a fourth inquest into the death, the coroner ruled that, in fact, the baby was killed by a dingo. So,
Bet you guys feel stupid now.
So by the time this episode came out, there was still like no confirmation.
it was still kind of up in the air. There'd been one inquest that said, yes, it was a dingo. There was another inquest that said it was murder. There was a third one that said that they weren't sure.
As they usually is. So basically, this is a joke that did not age well.
Yeah. Yeah, it did not age well. But also it just, like, wasn't ever really that funny.
Which is shocking because, like, you know how Supernatural ages so well.
Yeah, because like either way, a child died.
Yeah,
so
a child died.
Not make fun of that.
But, like, it's not just Supernatural. Like, it's a big pop culture reference used in a lot of different things, including, like, Family Guy and a bunch of other shows. And, like, it's just never been funny. It's never been funny. So, you know, they could have just not. But Dean suggests that they go to the mystery spot after dark again. But Sam's like, no, let's go during the day while it's crowded. And Dean calls Sam a freak, which I don't love. You know how I feel about that. But Dean immediately gets his due for calling his brother a freak because he gets run over by the old diner patron.
He doesn't even get run over. He goes flying into
over
the
top.
air.
Yeah,
Oh my
run
god.
over so much as he goes up over the hood. Like, he goes.
Yeah.
It's really bad. That is a high speed impact.
It's so funny.
That's why we take away his keys later. You should not be driving, man.
Yeah, Sam wakes up. Key to the Moment is playing. It's still Tuesday, and Sam is starting to lose it. He's at intensity level 1000, as he is for most of this episode, honestly, as he tries to explain his time loop situation, and he catches the hot sauce again, and Dean's like, calm down, which prompts the universal response of, don't tell me to calm down, because that does not work. No one in the history of ever has ever calmed down when someone said, calm down.
It's really funny to keep explaining that to people, and then they keep using it.
Yeah.
One time, like, I had a medical emergency on a plane, and I was just with my grandma.
God, my fear.
Panicking so much, and she was also panicking, but she was trying to keep calm for me, and she didn't tell me to calm down, but I hated that she was calm. I wanted her to panic too. I mean, like, why aren't you so calm? Why are you so calm? Be panicking. So I think the opposite is also true.
One of us has to be calm.
Yeah.
One of us has to be calm, but also, like, nothing about this situation's okay, and I need you to be, like, acknowledging that is not okay. Sam fills Dean in on the fact that Dean's died both times that Sam's already lived this day, and Dean's like, I think you're losing it, but I'm a little bit scared of your, like, energy right now. So
Yeah, the eyes.
He's got crazy eyes.
And my sister actually commented what the second time the day started, she was like, oh, it's like Groundhog Day. And I watched the episode without me, and apparently she thought the main actor in Groundhog Day, I don't know his name, was the actor Richard Spade Jr. who played the trickster.
Oh, that's funny.
So she started Googling it while we were watching. I was like, no, give me the phone.
Wasn't it like Bill Murray? It was like a very famous actor.
yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I feel like maybe they could look sort of alike, like a young Bill Murray.
Yeah. If you
They're not that
squint.
different, honestly.
Honestly, I can't tell. He looks so old in
Yeah, he's also old
Oh
now.
my god.
Anyway, they're walking down the street again. Sam's yelling. Sam's like, tells Dean about how he got shot at the mystery spot and then stops him from being hit by the old guy. And like, Dean's like, well, did it look cool? And Sam's like, no, you peed yourself.
God tier writing. Best episode.
Of course, I think myself. Man gets you like how you think he has full control of his bladder. Come on.
I mean, he's right. That is what happens to dead people.
They go investigate the mystery spot, and it's like super corny still. And like the guy's clearly like bullshitting the owner. he's like not thrilled when they bring up Dexter Hasselbeck, the missing guy, but Sam's still at like 1,000. So the guy like comes clean and says he just bought the property at a foreclosure auction the previous month. So like he hasn't owned it for generations and like it is just like all a hoax.
Yeah.
So then it's nighttime and Sam and Dean are walking down the street again and they stop for a second and Dean's just like, okay, well, we'll just gotta make it to Wednesday. Like that's the thing to do.
Easier said than done.
I'm just gonna go back to the motel room when a desk falls from the sky and just decimates Dean. He's done. He's totaled.
There's actually like a tweet I saw months ago that was like, hey, did everybody think that the thing that falls on Dean was a piano, or was it just me? It was like,
I thought it was a piano too. No, I think
yeah.
because when people like are moving stuff, at least in like American media, I feel like they're always moving
It's
a
always
piano,
a piano.
and that's why.
That's the trope.
Yeah, it's the Mandela effect. So
but it is the desk that the guys couldn't fit through the door earlier in the day.
I made sure when I watched the episode, I was like, okay, it is a desk.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
That's so
piano
funny.
does feel right. Pianos aren't really designed to be moved very often, is the other thing. Like, we just shouldn't really be doing that to them.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, but like...
Treating the humor, like human quotes, of the deaths of the episode, you'd think it might be actually better if it would have been a piano.
Honestly, yeah.
Like just very cartoony.
And then like the sound of the keys when it falls.
Okay, that would be funny, actually. I'm going to hell.
Sam wakes up again. They're at the diner. Sam's explaining once again everything that happened, and Dean says, well, nothing's set in stone, and he changes his order to a side of sausage and, like, assures Sam that, like, if they just decide he's not gonna die, he's not gonna die. So the waiter brings Dean food, which is the first time we've actually gotten to the part where Dean gets the food. And again, I note on the plate that there's nothing that should need hot sauce. I love Frank's Red Hot. Just felt slightly less than the girl who, like, went viral for loving hot sauce. But I do love it, but there's nothing on this plate that requires it.
Yeah.
Dean immediately chokes on his side sausage because he changed his order from bacon to sausage.
I love that.
I know.
I love that because this whole episode, there's a bunch of deaths that we hear about and see on the screen that screaming bisexual death, like choking on a sausage and and eating tacos.
And eating tacos later.
Sleeping
Oh my
in
gosh,
the
no,
shower.
that's so funny.
Yeah, so we then get like a really quick succession of deaths. So we got slipping in the shower, taco botulism, and electrocution via electric razor.
All
I love it.
euphemisms.
I'm obsessed with the fact that they have a death montage in Supernatural for our beloved main character.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm talking about.
But also the fact that it's just so hilarious and everyone thinks of it as such.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he sleeps in the shower, and the one that they eating the tacos, and he's just like, "Do these tacos taste funny to you?" And boom.
Yeah.
We know what happened.
Then Sam and Dean go to the mystery spot. The owner is duct taped to a chair, and Dean is clearly under the impression that Sam is having an acute mental health crisis, aka a psychotic break. Dean's clearly like, that is what's happening here, and we're just going with it. Sam is chopping through the walls with an axe, and Dean gets up to stop him, and Sam accidentally axe murders his big brother.
That's probably the worst one for Sam. But
It's pretty bad.
honestly, Sam probably is having an acute mental health
At this
crisis.
point.
Yeah.
I think axe murder is also a euphemism. If I'm not, I might be wrong.
I mean, anything could be a euphemism if you say it
if
the
you
right
try
way.
hard enough.
Yeah.
If you add a wink at the end.
As a sex repulsed asexual person, it's really exhausting. I just want to
Oh my
talk.
god, same here. Oh my god, it's so nice to find another.
Hey! Yes, we're everywhere.
Sam and Dean are at the diner again, and Sam's just like a broken man at this point. He steals the keys from the old guy, like good job, Sam. And he tells the waitress Doris to block more hours at the archery range because she's a terrible shot, implying that one of the Tuesdays we haven't seen, Sam has ended with her shooting Dean. And Sam's just like broken. It's his 100th Tuesday of Dean dying.
Oh my god.
And also, if you look at how it's shot too, it's gotten the diner scene, like the coloring has gotten so
gone.
desaturated, so
Yeah,
dark.
just thinking
I'm
what was
obsessed. I'm so sorry.
so
I just love it. I'm like Kim Manners.
Me too.
I love you.
Yeah, the way the colors sort of like get sucked out of the scene.
Yeah, I almost never advocate for desaturating Supernatural because it's so desaturated all the time. But in this case, I'll allow it. It's great.
The way I watched it on my tablet the first time, so I had to like pull the all the way to 100 just to be able to see something on the screen.
Nothing will ever be as unwatchable as the episode of Game of Thrones that's shot in the dark, but some episodes of Supernatural, especially in the early seasons, are really close.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that episode of Game of Thrones.
It's so bad, honestly. Sam knows everything that's gonna happen. He's like, there's nothing I haven't lived through at this point, including all the things that Dean's gonna say. They go through the whole like thing where like Dean's trying to like throw Sam off guard and Sam's like matching him word for word. Dean says a bunch of things that are like supposed to trip Sam up, but
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny, it's fun. I just don't care to I didn't care to write them all in my notes.
Yeah, you think you're being funny, but you're being really, really childish. Sam Winchester
Sam Winchester keeps a rule by the bed, and every morning when he wakes up, okay, enough.
So
finish your sentence, coward.
Yeah. Sam knows all the tea about everyone. Like, Randy's skimming off the register, the judge is a furry, Cal's a bunch of Rob Tony, the mechanic. Sam's all over it. Like, Sam knows everything.
Something interesting, I saw a post about it like a year ago, and they ruined it because that's what I do. That, like, it's the difference in approaches between Sam and Dean to the situation, because, like, Sam is very single-minded focused, just, like, cannot see anything but the targets. Like, his mind is like, okay, stop Dean from dying. So just, like, every time he learns what something is about to happen, and then the next time he prevents it. And, like, I saw someone who says, like, maybe if the situations were reversed, Dean, on the other hand, would have tried to, like, solve the problems around them to make sure nothing happens to them. So, like, you see someone scheming for the register, so every day he gives them $5 or something like that. Or, he makes sure that nothing happens to Sam by solving the things around him instead of just focusing on, like, steering him away from all the trouble. I don't know.
Yeah. Sam does a little bit of this too. Like, he's stealing the keys, he's telling Joel to practice a bit more. But yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to have like an episode where this is reversed. But honestly, I don't think Dean could handle 100 Tuesdays. Like, Sam's pretty.
Oh no, he'd break so easily.
He would not handle it. I do think it's interesting though that even though like Dean is static in this episode because everything keeps resetting, Sam is progressing through the story through Dean's suggestions, right? Like, because Dean is the one to say, well, maybe you'll get to Wednesday if I don't die. And, you know, he's getting these other tidbits kind of from Dean. So I still really enjoyed that because I think that really goes to show how important their dynamic is in working together.
Yeah, this is when they're walking down the street again and Dean stops mid-street, which immediately made me worried we were going to have another car incident because he stopped in the middle of crossing the street. But he turns around and he follows the blonde woman who bumps into him every day. And she's putting up missing posters for Dexter Hasselbeck. She's his daughter. And Sam then goes running after her to get more information from her that Dean didn't know to ask for because Dean doesn't really know what the time loop is. And then Dean, very own character, might I add, tries to befriend the dog that's tied up and the dog kills him, which makes me really sad because if this wasn't a time loop, they probably put that dog down.
Yeah, Dean shouldn't have a dog, Exhibit A.
I have a dog now. I adopted her after the last time I watched the episode, and like watching the scene and she was sitting in front of me, I was looking at her and I was like, please keep me alive. Please don't.
Yeah. Well, you're fine. You're not like a frog or a turtle, which she was obsessed with for some reason.
Yeah, she eats turtles and frogs and...
Yeah, that's what dogs do.
It traumatizes me.
They're carnivores. They eat things.
Well, also, like, turtles have shells. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Just one time we were out on a walk and she comes home and she has like straw in her mouth and I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then she just opens her mouth and spits out a baby turtle and like it was still alive and I just like and then she saw me and I was like, no.
One of the cats in our house, I've never seen this because she always does this to my roommate. But anyway, she will bring in live mice and live birds and live rabbits, baby rabbits, and then proceed to kill them in front of my roommate.
Oh my god.
And every time my roommate tells people this, she's like, did you know that rabbits can scream?
Yes, they can.
We didn't know that. She's traumatized.
He performs rituals in front of your roommate.
Yeah, my cat likes bread. He'll eat bread.
Yeah, I have a cat who likes cheese.
As traumatizing has done all this. Like, that is just how cats show affection, but also, like, just know your cat will eat you if you die.
I mean, not necessarily.
Maybe you taste bad.
Depends on the cat.
Well, we obviously know if
taste
Chi
bad.
suddenly dies, her dog will eat her, probably. I hate to say it, but...
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a cat person.
I'm even a dog person. The dog just came with my sister and my brother, and they were like, here, have a dog. Okay.
I wish someone would just give me a dog. We're back in the diner, because it's a Tuesday. Sam's got his laptop, because he's feeling revitalized after this, like, Dexter Hasselbeck daughter conversation he only got to have half of. And he's not just a professor, he's a professional debunker. He's put 4 mystery spots out of business, and Sam's, like, not even trying to explain the time spot mystery, like, time loop thing to Dean anymore. Like, he's just like, eat your breakfast, leave me alone.
Dean's like, how'd you do that research when you died? But it sounds like,
meanwhile,
come on.
It's been like 3 or 4 Tuesdays that we just haven't seen.
Oh, and there's like a line Dean says here that like Dexter Hasselbeck, like it sounds like a schmuck or something.
Yeah.
And so he's a pompous schmuck, and that's like the target audience of the trickster. He just like goes after people he thinks are annoying and too full of themselves. So like I think that would have been the first clue that they should have latched onto.
Yeah. Dean, like, Sam and Dean both agree. He kind of sounds like a bit of a dick. And Dean offhandedly mentions it's like justice that this dude went out of his way to debunk like all these mystery spots and then went missing one. And then the phrase I think that Dean uses that like I think most tips Sam off is that Dean uses the phrase just desserts, which is a phrase that the trickster did use the last time that they met.
I think it's funny that he's just desserts when he has a sweet tooth.
Yeah, it's a sweet tooth. It's all fun. It's all fun and wordplay. Sam also at the same time that Dean says that and he gets like that kind of like brainwave also notices that the guy sitting at the counter who's had maple syrup for like 100 Tuesdays, like a normal fucking person, that's what you're supposed to have on pancakes, is suddenly today having strawberry stuff, which is also an acceptable pancake topping.
I didn't even know strawberry syrup was a thing until I watched it.
I feel like it's a very American thing.
Yeah, it's definitely like if you go to IHOP or a pancake place, they're gonna give you like 6 types of syrup. I'm with you, KJ, though. Maple syrup all the way. That's the only way to do it.
It's the correct way to go. But I did just like go to Mexico and they had like, I'm not kidding, like probably like 8 different like pancake toppings that you could put on your pancake.
Ooh.
But maple syrup is the way to go.
How huge is Sam's brain that he like remembers everything? Like he watches.
Sam is a very details oriented guy, I feel like.
And also he's relived this day so many times. The syrup is probably important at some point.
Yeah. So like I love the way it was written in the episode. That's like we put him through so much. He says himself he's been through so many Tuesdays that when something is off, like by even
he's gonna know.
Yeah, it's like it's jarring to him. It's and I have a theory that I'll say in a moment when you describe what happens next that I think really connects to that. So you go ahead.
Yeah. Sam like is very jarred and he like is like, this guy's had like maple syrup for 100 years, now he's having strawberry. Like that's not right. Nothing changes in this diner except for me. Like only my actions change. And he suddenly wakes up again. Dean hasn't died. He's just woken up again, which means he's on to something. Something went wrong. So they go back to the diner. The guy's having maple syrup this time, but it's too late. Sam's like, eat your breakfast. I'm following this guy out of the diner. And he like...
I love that exchange because Dean's like interested. He's like, so you cut in a what exactly? And Sam's like,
I have work to do, child.
You stay at home and do the dishes. I love it.
Tense moment here. So yeah, Sam holds a stake to this guy's throat and he's looking very crazy, but he's like pretty sure he's got his guy. So the guy's begging for his life and we're just gonna file away this backstory for a minute.
I was just about to say.
He's got a wife named Amelia, 2 kids, and he sells ad space. Just file that way for a season or so.
And
we'll come back to it. Ed then turns into our dear, dear friend, the trickster from season 2, episode 15.
He's back!
Played by the wonderfully talented Richard Spade Jr. Always a pleasure to have back.
And I have a theory, and you're forced to hear it because you recall. So I think, like, Trickster says something in much later season. It's just a sentence, so I think it's okay if I say it. He says, I hate continuity errors. Like, and the maple syrup, strawberry syrup thing is, well, if you could count it as a continuity error in this production he does. But is it really an error? though. Did he do it on purpose?
I think it's a continuity error. I think he did it on purpose, but I think it's like I'm so tired of maple syrup. I would really like to have strawberry tonight, and like Sam notices.
I honestly think that he might have done it on purpose because he was like both tired of maple syrup and both tired of Sam just
Yeah, that too.
Like maybe this is getting old.
Yeah, maybe 100 Tuesdays is pushing it. He is a guy who likes to be entertained, and like killing Dean can only be entertaining for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell that to the 15 seasons we have.
The trickster announces that they actually didn't kill him last time, clearly.
Which we knew, but they didn't, so.
He's also doing this to get back at them, and he dropped Mr. Hasselback, the missing guy, into a wormhole because he didn't believe in wormholes. And
I think it's amazing of him. Girl boss, go ahead.
That's just never resolved. That guy's just gone. Don't worry about it.
Sucks to be him.
Yeah.
I wonder where he went.
The trickster says this isn't about killing Dean. The joke is on Sam, forcing him to reckon with the fact that he can't save his brother and he's going to have to watch Dean die forever.
Which is amazing if you think about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not like the Dean dies, Sam's alone, that's sad. But it's like, okay, so up till this point, especially season 2 and the beginning of season 3, the codependency shtick, which like, I call it a shtick because I'm really annoyed with it.
I love it. It's what I live for.
It's incredibly strong, but we mostly see it on Dean's side. We keep seeing like backstory of their childhood. Dean is the one taking care of Sam, and Dean is the one can't let go. Dean's the one who misses Sam when Sam is in Stratford. Sam is living his best life in Stratford. Dean just comes in and ruins it. So like, there's the codependency from Dean's side, and I think even in fandom spaces, it's very, very much like everybody leans to like, yeah, Dean's the one who really, really can't let go of Sam, and Sam's the one who's like, fine, I love him, but like, I want my own life. But here in this episode, we see how Sam can barely function without Dean. Every time Dean dies, he's like mind blank, losing
and we're
shit.
gonna see this like time and time again. Like Sam looks healthy from the outside, but like when you push Sam and Sam's alone in something, he actually can't function.
Yeah. I can't remember. There's another episode in season 3, and I'm not sure if it happened before this or after, but it was like so we could cut this if need be, but it was the guy. So I will say, a later episode in season 3 also very heavily shows that Sam will go off the deep end to save Dean. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love those episodes that really just highlights that, even though Dean can't let go and he has issues, Sam has some fucking issues too.
I think later on in the show, Sam's like, okay, I recognize those issues, I will work on them. Dean's the one who's like, no, fuck therapy.
He doesn't. Sam will say he's gonna work on them, but he can't. Like,
that's just a bottle of beer. So in this episode, if we're getting back on track, it really shows that Sam is not okay without Dean. This goes.
Sam has been hinted at all this season as like willing to do anything, willing to go off the road. There's been some scary Sam moments. Like Sam has been pretty scary. I can't think of a particular moment.
Oh, I know.
Now,
in the recap of this episode, there's the scene with the Gordon episode, which is where he kills Gordon, and it's like you have.
That is like a self-defense thing. I mean, it's a little bit more intense than.
It's replayed with a line that says you have to prepare yourself to live a life without Dean.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. I think Sam killing the crossroads demon that Dean made the deal with was like a really like and there's been a few times where Sam and Dean have been like in fights about Dean's deal where I'm just like Sam. I mean, he in this episode where he I think really nails the crazy eyes, but like. Like it's there, like it is like there's some anger in Sam that has always been like under the surface, but it's really coming out this season. Like, and he's genuinely scary in this season.
He's pushed into a corner and he's running out of time and he's scrambling.
He is running out of time and he knows it.
Dean is so uncooperative for most of the season. He's like, I'm gonna die, whatever happens. And Sam.
Last episode, like episode 10, was the very first episode of the season where Dean says, "I actually don't want to die."
I think it's interesting to see Sam going crazy because like he's the one who wants a normal life so badly and is like so unfamiliar with how normal people do live. So it's interesting to see him not be normal.
Yeah.
There's also a kind of a unaddressed underlying plot line of this season where it's been implied a couple of times that Sam maybe came back wrong when Dean made his deal in the first place, and like
it never gets addressed.
It never readdressed, but I do think
just
season
dropped
3
it.
and 4
I
Sam are
hate
so
that.
off the rails that
Yeah, and that was cool. Oh, my favorite trope, honestly, is came back wrong. I think I talked about that. Like,
I love
yeah, I think were we talking about the zombie episode in like the beginning of season 2 where that girl comes back?
I think so, yeah.
Right, and I feel like I was like, oh, love this. My
It's
favorite.
like, with Sam, it would be like, came back wrong, and then we just never really think about it, and we don't kill him.
Maybe just Sam also has trauma. We never considered that.
Yeah,
That's true. It's like
maybe he's just always been crazy.
Dead for 3 days. We don't know where he was. Like
maybe dying just
a thing.
locked that part of him that he pushed down.
Maybe dying just messes up a person.
Yeah. Dying and coming back. We never know.
It's hard to tell. It doesn't happen that often.
The trickster promises that when Sam wakes up again, it will be Wednesday. And Sam wakes up again, and this time, Back in Time by Huey Lewis and the News from Back to the Future soundtrack is playing. First, I love Back to the Future. You might, on a Wednesday, occasionally find videos of me with this song as a combat to the fandom-wide usage of Here's the Moment on Tuesdays. I do
That's funny.
Do a Back in Time video on a Wednesday. And 3, this is where I think the episode takes a turn. I think that this episode is, like, it's very fun and funny, even though Dean's dying a bunch. I think at this point, this is when the episode takes a turn and it goes into this, like, really angsty place, and I love it.
Feels like a fan fiction, and it's amazing.
Yeah, Dean's getting ready. Dean asks how many Tuesdays Sam had, and he says he doesn't know. He lost count, and Dean only remembers the most recent Tuesday. Sam's like, let's get the fuck out of town. No breakfast. We're going. And Dean's packing the car when Cal from the diner comes up behind him and robs him at gunpoint. Sam's in the motel room, hears the gunshot, comes running, finds Dean bleeding out on the sidewalk.
I hate that
We're so close.
Dean does, because, like, whatever, Dean dies a lot. I hate that scene because the way he dies, like, we see the gun hole in his chest, and there's, like, a little drizzle of blood coming out like a fountain.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny, the blood pack. But they were like,
I cannot take it seriously.
Let's pretend that was an artery, y'all. It doesn't really make sense, but...
Okay, and also, not to, like, victim blame, but after you've had over 100 Tuesdays in a row where your brother died, and you're dealing with, the trickster, the person who likes to get one over on you, like, even though he says it's gonna be the next day, why the hell would you leave your brother alone? I would be glued to his side.
Not to victim blame, but I'm blaming that victim.
I am.
This had to have been one of the Tuesdays already, too, right? Like, where they tried to just leave town and Dean gets robbed. Like, I feel like that had to have happened on one of the Tuesdays where Sam, somewhere around like the 70th or 80th Tuesday, Sam's like, what if we just try and leave town?
Yeah.
Sam was blinded by euphoria for a second.
I think he was just so happy not to hear you in the moment that he was like temporarily he was just so happy to never hear that song again.
Not to get dark, but heat of the moment at that point for Sam, it must have been like waterboarding.
Oh my, like, he must,
You're right.
Never listen to that song again.
Yeah.
Finally, like, takes a breath and then boom, finally.
Sam's holding Dean and he's crying and he says, I'm supposed to wake up, but he doesn't.
Which is heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, yeah. It's awful. We then jump forward 6 months and we get
6 months! 6 months!
That's a really long time.
It's a really long time.
Yeah. The worst thing of this entire montage of the 6 months, the worst thing is how Sam sews up a cut in the ball. I hate that. Not because it's gory or something. I hate it because, like, KG, I think you said it earlier that Sam doesn't know how to be normal. Or maybe Meredith said it. And, like...
That was me, yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't know how to... He wants to be normal. He doesn't know how to be normal. It's just like he pours whiskey on a gunshot wound and it's like, yeah, this is what normal people does. No Band-Aid, not hospital.
It's what hunters do.
It's fun. Yeah, it's what they do, honestly.
Hunters aren't healthy. Hunters don't know how to buy rubbing alcohol.
No.
That too.
I mean, it's probably
But I feel like Sam would have known to buy
Yeah.
rubbing alcohol, so clearly he's like given up on that.
No, I mean, I don't think Sam honestly cares that much.
He's a manic pixie girl.
But Bobby's leaving Sam voicemails, basically being like, "Hey, heard you did XYZ. That sounds like you did a good job. Hope you're not dead. Call me back. Love, Dad."
Yeah.
Please call me back.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but so we have this montage of Sam just turning into Hunter Patrick Patrick Bateman of just going off the rails, you know, and being like so organized. He gets a new trunk organizer for all the weapons in the Impala. Also, the saddest thing I thought was he's like eating his food, his like meal or whatever. There's another plate of food on the table. Who's that plate for, Sam?
God. Look, I didn't know this.
It's a burger too, which Sam traditionally does not eat.
Like,
I'm losing it. I'm not gonna make it.
It's a ritual.
The thing I was curious about is like, do you eat the burger when you're done eating yours, or do you just like throw it away?
It's just there.
Yeah.
He leaves it for the next.
I think the most important thing we learned in this montage is that Sam has a pink toothbrush. I feel like that's important detail for everybody to know.
Oh, if we're talking about the toothbrushes, in the beginning of the episode, when the first day, he just like, he goes to brush his teeth and notices that the toothpaste is almost gone. Like, in this scene, when he brushes his teeth, the toothpaste is full, is full because Dean doesn't help him finish it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Dean had like a blue toothbrush, right? You know that they got them in a little 2-pack at a gas station. Oh my god.
I like that Sam's still using the pink one, even though he could have the blue one.
It's tradition.
Yeah, he probably always had to get the shittier color.
Yeah.
Dean would always get first pick. Oh.
That's a girly color, because, you know, colors are gendered and shit.
Yeah.
There's like, here, you get the girly one because
because John Winchester's toxic.
You have long hair.
Oh my god, if we're speaking about John Winchester, the original Burgell boss. So when, so this entire montage Sam is going through, it really reminds me of like how John is described, like revenge on the thing that kills his wife. Like, okay, he kills stuff, but he doesn't care about
John
that.
always wanted Sam to be.
Yeah.
And Sam is honestly, and it's honest, like as a character, Sam, when he takes down the I'm a normal person, I'm the cute one. When he removes that, he is much more like John than I think he wants to be, and I think
that's exactly it. Sam is the nice one, but he has to consciously be the nice one. Like that's not his actual natural state a lot of the time. Like underneath, that is the part of himself that he it's a part of him. It's part of Sam, but like it is a part of himself that he
doesn't like.
Yeah, he doesn't like, and the part of it that is nice is the part that he consciously puts forward. It's actually not like a big part of his personality a lot of the time.
Yeah, Sam grew up really spoiled. I think it's
I disagree with that, and that's okay.
No. I mean, like, from his perspective, like, Dean did a lot to make sure that Sam grew up as normal as he could have in that situation. Like, he, from the little ages, like, gave him the Lucky Charm, even though he wanted the Lucky Charm, stuff like that, that he made sure that Sam could demand stuff, and I think that really shaped him up later. So, like, when he acts really nice, you notice that he does that, like you said, as a choice. It's a conscious choice. He does not, it's not against his nature, but it does come harder to him that he has to work on it. And I think that's really nice of him. But
yeah, I think Sam's natural state is one of arrogance and like anger. Like I think that is Sam's natural state. I think he uses
he's annoying. He's sometimes so annoying.
Well, even in like the season 3 premiere, when you have the 7 deadly sins, Pride singles Sam out.
I think that is Sam. But I think he recognizes that those are the things that made John such a bad father, and I think that's why he actively like chooses to be nice and be kind, even if it's not always like the thing that he wants to do. I'm writing a very Sam-centric fic right now, and like that is the angle I lean into.
It's really interesting because just last episode, the Dream a Little Dream of Me, when Dean talks to his demon, when he talks to him, the demon is like, you keep trying to imitate John. You wear his jacket, you listen to his music, you drive his car, you try really hard to be like John, but you're not like John. And then we have Sam in the next episode. He's trying his best to be unlike John as possible. When it comes to he sort of
and he said that before. Like you're more like Dad than I could ever be, even though I try really hard to be like him. Bobby, I think we're going to come back to John in a sec, so I do want to keep us moving forward. Bobby leaves a message that he found the trickster, and that gets Sam to contact Bobby back for the first time in 6 months. Really, Bobby meets Sam in Broward County, and he has a ritual to summon the trickster, but needs fresh blood, like a gallon of it, and it has to be tonight, and it has to be fresh blood, so they basically need to kill someone. Bobby's like, we're not going to be killing an innocent tonight, and Sam's really angry. I think in this moment, Sam conflates Bobby and John. Like, I think in this moment, they are the same to him. Like, they are a father figure, because the way he yells at Bobby is exactly the way he yells at John in Dead Man's One.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby's like, okay, fine, we're not killing a random person, but if you want to do this, you can kill me.
Oh my god, the way he shouts at Bobby is so teenager-like. It's like, I'm not gonna let you kill someone. It's just like, it's none of your business what I do in my time. I'm an adult.
But it's murder,
I don't like
Sam.
when they yell at Bobby, but I do think that it's a sign of how comfortable Sam and Dean are with Bobby, that they yell at him like they would yell at their dad. But Bobby's like, okay, like, I'm getting old, you can still save people, but you need Dean to even you out. Like, you are off the rails, and you're both my family. I would want to do this for Dean. And Sam's like, okay, I'll kill you then. And Bobby, like, kneels on the ground, is back to Sam, and Sam's like, great. And he stabs Bobby with the stake because he knows that this is not Bobby.
And I love the moment of, like, silence after he stabs Bobby, and Bobby drops on the
And then
floor.
Sam's
And
not
like,
100% sure anymore.
Yeah.
Really,
And-
Bobby?
Yep. Yeah.
the horror clocks in his eyes, and
He's
then
like,
Bobby
shit,
disappears.
maybe I guessed wrong. Maybe I didn't do that right. But then the body...
And you know it was the trickster messing with him.
But there's something about the way Sam chases after the trickster, like, bring him Dean back and stuff. Even if he brings Dean back, Dean, like, in the contract, he has, like, months to live at best, and, like, the 6 past, who knows if it's even, like, it's still standard, but, like, he brings Dean back, and then what? That's
more time. That's more time, and that's all Sam needs is time.
Yeah. And that's also the point, right? I mean, KJ, you can go back into the summary, but, you know, the trickster reveals himself, and he's like, you're not getting it. You're not getting the point here.
I'm trying to teach you a lesson. God damn, why won't you listen to me?
I don't want to learn a lesson.
It's just like, everyone says dude's the dysfunctional one, but clearly you are the dysfunctional one, and, like, nothing good comes from you sacrificing yourself for your brother and vice versa. Like, you're always going to be each other's weaknesses. It will always be the thing that causes your downfall. But Sam's like, I love my brother and I want him back, and the trickster gets, like, a full face of Sam's sad puppy eyes. Like, Sam's not even into crazy eyes anymore. Like, he's just into the begging puppy eyes, which is almost worse.
Yeah, he's like whispering.
He's just like he's out of that intensity and that crazy, and he's like into just like defeat. Like, if this doesn't work, Sam's gonna kill himself.
He just reverts back to, like, baby mode. Like, I want my big brother back. Bring him back. I don't know.
The trickster says this isn't fun anymore. Anyways, because Sam is Travis Bickle in a skirt. In case you don't know anything about Taxi Driver, besides that it exists, here's who Travis Bickle is. He is the taxi driver in Taxi Driver.
I only watched Gonchano.
Yeah, he's portrayed by Robert De Niro, who got an Oscar nomination for the role. And in the movie, Travis Bickle is a Vietnam vet, a former Marine, not unlike John Winchester. He works as a late night cab driver, and he starts acting on fantasies of killing, like, drug dealers and pimps and such that he, like, drives around. But then he saves a 12-year-old sex worker and gets her back to her parents. So, like, that's good, I guess. And, like, the whole point of this comparison is that Sam's gone, like, real far off the rails with the hunting. Like, that is all the trickster was trying to do.
The trickster says to Sam, like, the lesson that the obsession to save Dean, that he never lets go. They keep sacrificing. So my sister, actually, while we were watching the episode, she asked me, why wouldn't they just, like, keep switching out the places on the contract? Like, now Sam,
we have debated this before. Sam tried that in season 3 already.
He did. And I told her that, and it's like, I thought about it. It's like what the trickster says here, that it doesn't solve the problem, because one keeps sacrificing himself for the other, and then the other like, oh no, I can't live life without you, so I'll sacrifice myself, so you will have to live life without me. It's like, either way, none of you win.
And no one's happy.
No one's happy.
We did ask this question. I think it was Jamie was asking on the Driver Picks the Podcast Twitter about, like, is there a limit on how many times you can sell your soul for each other? Like, and I think as long as the demons are willing to keep making deals with you, I don't think there's a limit limit on how many times you can just like switch back and forth, but like it really does depend on how much the demons are willing to deal with you, and they are unwilling to deal with Sam and Dean anymore.
Yeah. I like to think that they're like used car salesmen, so they just get like a commission if they get like, ooh, we got a Winchester soul, so that's extra points for me, and they're willing to do it again.
But the sentence the trickster says, like, nothing comes of it, just like pain and blood and all this.
Yeah.
It's your weakness. And then he said something that really stuck with me yesterday. He said, sometimes you just gotta let people go. And like that, the Winchester story, none of them ever let anything go. John never lets go of Mary. Dee never lets go of Mom. Sam never lets go of the picture of the happy family. And then Jessica and then Dean and Sam lose John. And then it spirals and spirals and spirals. It's a spiral that never stops until they hit the hellfire. And then it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's interesting because Sam, like, at least the way he is, he so wanted to break away from this life, so wanted to break away from the demons and the monsters and the deals and whatever it is. But like, he also at the end of the day is very codependent on Dean. So codependency is the bottom line here. Codependency is to break it. They could write a book. Not a very good story.
No, it's good. Sam wakes up back into Wednesday, back in time is playing again. He gets out of bed, he hugs Dean, and he's like trembling a little bit. And Dean still only remembers his final Tuesday. No memory of the other Wednesday. Sam still says no breakfast, but he won't let Dean pack the car by himself. He's learned his lesson. And Dean can tell something's not right with Sam, but Sam like doesn't want to talk about it. So he just like cracks a joke and like lets it go. Doesn't make Sam talk about it, which makes me wonder if Dean ever knows about the full extent of any of this.
Probably not.
Probably not. Sam turns off the light and closes the door, and they're gone. That's the end of the episode. Like the episode just kind of ends with
something interesting. Is that the trickster? So we know from the first episode he's introduced that he, and I said it earlier, that he punishes people he thinks are annoying and too full of themselves and stuff. But when he's here, he's trying to teach Sam a lesson. He doesn't do it. At least it doesn't seem like he's doing it because he thinks Sam is annoying or he's like, "Aha, I'll throw you in a wormhole." He's really trying to instill something in Sam, like a lesson.
Yeah, it is like
he wants him to understand. Like it makes sense in the bigger picture of like season 5 and season 14 and season 15. Like when you look at it, if you take a step back and look at the whole show, you're like, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. But individually, it's just like, it's if you like take all that and put it aside and just view it as a trickster, like Sam does, trying to teach Sam a lesson, you ask yourself like, why did the trickster care? Why was he doing it?
I think we get an explanation maybe later as to what the incentive was to do this, but interesting choice, honestly, all around.
Mm-hmm. Like he says when Sam asks him, he says like, well, you killed me, I had to like take my risk. But like the way he says it, it's like and mermaids walk on land. So it's interesting, just like the way everything connects in the show, like the meta text stuff. But I really, while I was taking notes for this, I was sitting down and was like, why would he, in this individual episode, not connected to anything else in the show, do this?
Yeah, this will be a thing that we'll definitely come back to later. We're going to start our end segments with a question from the Supernatural Discord, Supernatural Opinions Discord. Obviously, if you want to be asking questions like this one, join our Discord. The link is in the episode description, in the link tree, and in the episode description itself. What is everyone's favorite Dean death in this episode? We saw 10 and a few others were alluded to, and we'll start with Chi. What was your favorite death in this episode?
God, it's a tie between choking on a sausage and sleeping in the shower.
Those are both good ones.
Like the soapy face, and then it's just like, wow. It's funny.
Jen, how about you?
Oh my god, I love how covered he was in soap, but honestly, I'm gonna say when he gets run over by the car, just because I feel like I knew it was coming, but when I actually saw it again, I think I actually like started laughing and clapping because I was
like memeable death. You can put any question over that, and it's funny.
It's so funny.
And Meredith, how about you?
Death by Taco was pretty funny.
Death by taco is pretty funny, and one of Eric Kripke's favorite deaths ever.
Okay, my second one though is probably when he gets axed off screen because of the way it's shot. We just see like the mystery spot owner just reacting to it, and then the blood, and it's dark, but it's funny.
My favorite part of that scene in particular is when Sam then goes, Dean, when Sam realizes what's happened.
No,
I love
Sam.
that scene. That's like that scene when Dean's like sitting next to the owner, and the owner is tied up.
Yeah, he's like, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Sam?
Sammy, could you explain yourself?
Yeah, it happens. He has those episodes. It's fine.
My favorite death in this episode, it's also a tie for me. It's a tie between electrocuted by the electric razor. I just like the effects on that one. I think it's funny. You can see Dean's like spine. The desk falling on Dean is also pretty good. It feels very cartoony.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it. Honestly, they're all really good. MVP of the week.
I'm gonna nominate Sam. He had to just do so much this episode. He had to deal with a lot.
So tortured.
And also, from what we hear of Bobby's voicemail messages once he turns into the Patrick Bateman hunter, he was fucking killing it. He
literally
found a shit ton of monsters and demons, so kudos to him.
Yeah.
Really sorry you had to go through this.
Yeah. Meredith, who would you like to?
I mean, it's gotta go to Sam, right?
Yeah.
He went through so much.
I'm nominating the Trickster.
Trickster, okay.
And
Okay.
honestly, and if I could nominate real life MVPs, I think it's the actors the background actors that had to recreate the scene over and over and over.
And over again, yeah.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, like
Yeah,
kudos
and
to
make
them.
it look so amazing. So those are the real life MVPs, and the Trickster is the one in the show for me.
I'm also gonna give this one to Sam, so yeah. I feel like that's okay. Every vote counts as its own vote, so it's all good. I think Sam went through it in this episode. Our next segment is going to be Bechdel Fest. Do we have two named women in this episode? No. The Trickster only cares about women if he can conjure them. We
had one named woman, Doris the waitress, and
Doris the waitress.
And there was also the daughter of the guy who went missing, but I don't think
she has a last name, but I don't think she has a first name.
No.
That she has a last name based on her
and
father.
they do not talk. So
yeah, they don't talk. So also, Doris wasn't named until the 100th Tuesday. I would just like to say. So yeah, this episode does not pass the Bechdel test. That's a fail on the Bechdel test this week, and I gotta update my spreadsheet. This week's case week was the Trickster and a time loop. We already did a whole Trickster mythology section, courtesy of Meredith last season. So I don't think we have anything unless someone else brought something this week.
I mean, I googled time loops, but the results are pretty much what you expect. Very 20th century.
I will mention that there's a great Destiel fanfiction that involves a time loop that the Trickster creates. So there's that. It's not a mythology, but it is Trickster and supernatural. So I will give it half a credit.
No, that's good. Do you happen to remember what the fic is called?
The best years of our lives, my ass, I think, if I'm not wrong.
I think I've heard of that one.
It's really funny.
I remember, I'll see if I can find one, KJ. I found a really dark fanfic.
Oh my god, it
adaptation of this episode, but it was the Trickster leaves and comes back. So he's not in the loop every time, and he accidentally left it too long, and Sam's been there for like thousands of Tuesdays, and he's lost his mind, basically.
Familiar to me. Like, I don't think I've read it, but like maybe I've heard of it before.
Yeah. I need to see if I can find it, but if I do, I'll send it over to you if you want it, because I remember being like, oh my god, what the fuck is this?
For our listeners, if you have any good time loop mystery spot fics that you want to recommend that I read, please send them to any of the podcast social medias.
I found the fic. It is called The Best Years of Our Lives, my ass, which is amazing, and it's season, but it is an AU of season 8, so people watched it. Do be careful.
Okay, just read the tags, people, on fics if you haven't watched watch Supernatural all the way through and you're gonna read a fic.
God, I remember, I was in a different fandom completely. I was in that fandom called Lucifer of the,
yeah.
Oh, I know that show. Yeah, I've seen most of it.
and I was on Archives of Our Own, and I was looking up a tag that started with Lucifer in, and then like I saw tags from Supernatural involving, and I was like, and I didn't watch Supernatural at the time, so I was like, okay, whatever, someone in something. And then like after that, I watched Supernatural, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, that sounds right. Our next segment is highlight and lowlight.
Highlight and lowlight. Okay, so highlight is the death montage. Lowlight is when the death montage is no longer funny, and Dean dies on Wednesday.
Valid. Chi, what's your highlight and your lowlight for that episode?
I think the highlight is the maple versus strawberry syrup scene when Sam realizes that something is off. Like when it
That's
all
really
comes
good.
sense, and you're like, oh, so that's what's happening. It's great. A lowlight, I think, might have been when Sam supposedly killed Bobby. Like my sister honestly thought that he actually killed Bobby, and she started crying. It's like, no, I don't want Bobby to die. So I think that's a lowlight because who wants Bobby to die? Not me. Bobby's.
Yeah.
Jen, how
Your
about you?
sister's gonna have a rough time.
Yeah, she saw me watching the last season. She knows what's up.
Jen, what's your highlight and lowlight?
My highlight, I really love the death montage. It's just so horrible and hilarious at the same time. And the lowlight is seeing what Sam becomes and who Sam becomes in the last 6 months he has without Dean there. Especially just because back in season 1, which isn't that long ago, he's so resistant to being back with Dean, to be back in this life. And now things have just altered to this point where he feels like he can't function without Dean anymore.
And his default when he loses Dean is to be more of a hunter instead of like going back to school or something like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. My low light is also Sam stabbing fake Bobby. Like Sam was pretty confident it wasn't really Bobby, but he wasn't 100% sure. And I don't like playing with Bobby's life like that.
You're not the writers of stuff.
Yeah. My highlight is Sam's first and second Wednesdays when he's just so happy that Dean's alive and it's Wednesday. I like the first one when Sam just looks so excited that's not he's the moment on the radio, and I like the second one for the hug. Call CPS. There aren't really any kids in this episode.
Thank God.
Thank God. So not much cause to call CPS aside from like the general like John sucks as a parent stuff, which is, you know, we've been over it so many times. Firing squad, people who did not perform their job duties.
Think like on the opposite, like the diner staff did a stellar job aside from dropping that hot sauce that we don't know what is
which is fine. I mean, yeah, I would really like to know what the hot sauce is for. My one criticism of the diner staff, you know, aside from like they're always like stealing out of the register because you shouldn't do that. But the guy who gives the old guy his keys every morning, and maybe don't give that guy keys. I don't know. You don't really have the authority to keep them, but like clearly a danger to society to be on the road.
Maybe he's never killed anyone before.
Well,
I mean, it's really only a matter of time based on the driving we see in this episode.
I saw the way he hits Dean and then looks out the window. He looks like a person. This is not the first time it happened.
Yeah, it's not his first time running someone over. Also, the movers who dropped the desk on Dean, not doing a great job, guys.
Yeah, they did not. They did not secure that.
Yeah,
maybe check the rope before you lift the desk.
Other than that, I think everyone else is fine. Mental health check. Also, like I would like to say, like pro before we get into mental health check. Like pro diner staff. Doris. When Dean changes his order, like 3 seconds before his order is up, and like she doesn't like get mad. Excellent customer service. Yeah, of course. If your bacon's already cooked, of course we'll give you sausage instead.
And she's so fast. The very next second, he's already serving him.
Yeah, it's already ready. Like they're on top of it.
Working like service long enough, you realize you have to be nice to these people.
I have Sam tipped on all the Tuesdays. Even the Tuesday where Doris shot Dean with an arrow.
I'm sure she had her reasons.
It seems like
And
it
it
was an
also it
accident.
was off work.
Yeah, it seems like it was an
The
accident.
real secret of the episode is that Doris is actually good at archery.
Yeah.
Mental health check. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. This segment is based purely on my own opinions. And weekly reminder, if you're struggling with anything at all, please reach out for help. This week, it was all about psychologically torturing Sam and like preparing Sam for Dean's impending death. I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about.
Can I just say the fact that at the end of the episode, Sam so obviously Dean knows, time loop. He doesn't know the full details. Sam probably never tells him.
He doesn't know about the Wednesday.
He doesn't know about the 6 fucking months because Sam is just a weird dream to Dean. Like, he probably suffered so much, did so much shady shit, killed a fake version of Bobby. That might stick in your brain. And he's just going to compartmentalize all of that and never go into the very real trauma he had to deal with.
The state of Sam in this episode just takes a nosedive, below the zero. Just, it's on the rocks and it's bad. And honestly, I think it's really funny how Dean is so happy-go-lucky the entire morning Sam's go through because oh my god, a pig in a poke, yay, 100 times in a row. And
Sam's just I have not slept in so many
I have seen hell.
And I've come out the other
end.
He's
really been through it. I mean, it's about torturing Sam, but I just feel so bad. Sam is my baby.
Yeah.
I would feel so bad for him, but honestly,
I like Sam, but I watched that episode and I was like, yeah, not like he deserved it, but it was his time. It was his time to go. Time to get trauma.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're gonna repress all that.
No soul transactions this week. No brain injury for Sam. Any head injuries were clearly Dean's. I'm sure there was a few out of the 100 Tuesdays. Name that episode. I don't have any name suggestions for this episode.
Probably the one with the time loop.
For me, it'd be God, I want it to be clever, but I know that something like the time of the diner makes it the 100 diners. Yeah, I'll go with Jenn, the time of the time loop. Loop.
It's simple, it gets the job done.
Meredith, any suggestions?
One with too many Tuesdays.
Ooh.
That's pretty good too.
That's a good one too.
Maybe for me, I'm changing to the one where Dean dies.
A lot.
Brackets?
Yeah.
A lot.
Like a lot. Yeah.
I had for consideration the one where it's Tuesday, the one where Dean dies 100 times, the one with heat of the moment. But yeah, all of those are good. And in occasion, we'll pick one. To finish off this week's episode, we have one of the week. So let's start with Jenn.
I mean, there's so many quotable moments in here, but I'm gonna go with the classic. Yesterday was Tuesday, right? But today is Tuesday too. Gotta love it.
It's so good. Meredith, how about you?
I just liked Dean and Sam's entire exchange where Sam knew everything he was going to say.
Yes, that's good. I agree, that's a good one. Chi, how about you?
I love the line where after Dean learns that he got hit by the car, he's like, of course I peed myself. Man gets hit by the car, you think he has full control of his brother? Come on! I think that's...
I love that too.
I like that we all have different ones. I mean, this episode is so full of quotable lines. I really like when Sam wakes up on the first Wednesday and he's like, are you kidding me? This is the most beautiful song you've ever heard. And he just goes, no.
This station sucks. It's changing.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's just not. Not even, he doesn't go elaborate. He's just no.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But that's it for this week. I've been KJ here with my guest. Meredith, where can people find you if they want to find you?
It's currently Saturday, so you can find me there.
Not in an eternal Tuesday, in an eternal Saturday.
Yeah, if I was in a time loop, you'd know. You can also find me at Shades of Dayanira on Tumblr, Instagram, and sometimes TikTok. And if you go there, you'll see lots of artwork for the fantasy series I'm writing.
And Chi, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media, on Twitter, Tumblr, and maybe if you're really good at stalking, Discord, at Quarichi. She looks like it's very annoying to write.
I'll put it in the episode description.
Yeah.
It's Quarichi, and I mostly talk about fandoms on in. Like, my Tumblr is mostly supernatural. My Twitter is a bit more anime related, and I write a lot of supernatural fanfiction.
Incredible. And Jen, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, and AO3 at Rupert Gaze. I actually just hit 2,500 followers on TikTok, so I was super excited about that.
Congratulations. That's a lot of people perceiving you.
We're gonna, so talk a lot about supernatural. I'm currently kind of in hibernation mode as I'm writing a lot of stuff, but I'm hoping to get 2 smaller supernatural fics out soon, and then go back to doing my really long series rewrite after that.
That's incredible. Next week, we are going to be talking about season 3, episode 12, Juice and Bellow. And who are we going to be doing that with? I don't remember. Meredith, obviously.
Wait, you say Juice in Bellow? Forever I said Just in Bellow, like just. And
I don't know if that's a correct or an incorrect way to say it. I mean, there is clearly a correct and incorrect way, but I don't know which one it is.
Is it Latin?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably Juice.
Juice?
Yeah.
Ooh, learning new stuff.
I've always read it as Juice and Bellow. But we will be doing that with Meredith, obviously, as well as Nick and Moira, who are both returning guests, so that will be fun.
I had a lot of fun being here.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to stop recording.
I've been KJ, and this has been Supernatural Opinions. If you enjoyed our show, the best thing you can do is subscribe on your podcast app of choice and tell a friend. Check out our link tree in the episode description for all of our social media and any other Supernatural-related projects we might be working on. Send us an email. Our address is supernaturalopinionspodcast@gmail.com, or reach out directly at KJ, at @EditKJ on all platforms. Thank you to Joe Veretta for our theme song, and our logo was created by Faith Ebert of faithanddesigns.ca. The episode was recorded, edited, and produced by me, Ed and KJ. If you want to hear more from me, you can check out my other podcast, Series of Opinions. And last but not least, a huge thank you to all of our guests.